survivors scrambled on board 2 lifeboats. So you have a boat, a sailor, a girl, and an old man in one boat. Then the girl's fiance and his best friend in the second boat, all right? So that evening, the storm continued and the 2 boats separated. So the one with the sailor, the girl, and the old man washed ashore on an island and was wrecked. And the girl searched all night in vain for the other boat, and he couldn't find, there was no sign of her fiancé. Okay, next slide. So the next day, the weather cleared up. Go back, one slide. Okay, so the next day, right, the weather cleared up, right? And still the girl could not locate her fiancé. So in the distance, she saw another island, hoping to find her fiancé. So she begged the sailor, right, to repair the boat and row her to the other island. And the sailor agreed on the condition that she slept with him that night, okay? Distraught, she went to the old man for advice, right? Remember that boat, right? There's the girl, the sailor, and the old man, right? So she turned to the sailor and asked the sailor to help to repair the boat, right? And then the sailor gave her that condition. And then she got distraught, and then she went to the old man for advice. She said, I can't tell, and the old man said this, I can't tell you what is right or wrong for you, he said. Look into your heart and follow it. So the girl was confused, but she was desperate. So she agreed to the sailor's condition. Next slide. So the next morning, the sailor fixed the boat and rowed her to the other island. Jumping out of the boat, she ran up the beach and into the arms of her fiancé. Then she decided to tell him about the previous night. In a rage, he pushed her aside and said, "Get away from me! I don't want to see you again." Weeping, she started to walk slowly down the beach. And then her fiancé's best friend saw her and went to her, put his arms around her and said, "I can tell that you two have a fight. I will try to patch it up, but in the meantime, I will take care of you." Okay, end of story. So now I want you, right, to vote. Okay, go back to the slide. Yeah, I want you to vote and rank the 5 characters, right? The girl, okay, the boyfriend, the sailor, the old man, and the fiancé, friends, right? These 5 characters, rank them in the ranking of 5 to 1. 5 being the highest, that means the most liked character. Number 1 being the less liked character. Okay, so I think Jackie has helped me to do the the polling now. Maybe Jackie can take over to do the admin part for me, and then we leave this slide here so that you can have an overview of the story. Maybe you missed my story halfway through. Okay, so can we spend some time going through the poll? Come, Jackie.
Okay, so now everyone, you will see there's a pop-up window on your screen. So this is the part where you get to input your idea. So like what she said, you have to select who do you like the most. So that will be the first one, right? So if you like the sailor the most, you press sailor, right? Then after that, second question, you say who you like second, who you like third, who you like fourth, and who you like the least. Okay, so do your voting now, and then we'll share the result with everybody in about 2 minutes. Okay, 8 o'clock.
Okay, 来加油 everybody vote. So far, we have 2% vote only.
Okay, we have wow. Michael, you are using a computer or iPhone? Actually, all should turn up.
I'm using iPad, Jackie.
Okay, because it
no pop-up appears.
Do you see the word poll in progress on top?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, wait, I also not sure. My iPad also never show up.
Oh, okay. You need to press the poll on progress, that tab on top.
Okay.
Then you will appear.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah. I
So
voted
far we
already.
have 24 votes coming in. They can't see the result, right, Jackie? Only I can see, right?
Not yet.
Okay,
I must press N and share, then they will be able to see.
I see. Okay. Very interesting. Each time I conduct classes, right, I have different responses. I think got to do with the profile of our respondents.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't get to vote as well. Oh,
You want
man.
to vote? You can vote. 27 only. Keep it going. What happened to the rest? Not voting. Or some of them are in dilemma, is it?
Come. The first question is who you like the most. After that, continue second, third, fourth, and the least. So put in the comments because later when she analyze the results, then you will see what your you get to understand a little bit about yourself and why you choose this. So if you want to have a bit of evaluation, put in your responses.
This is not a personality test. It's not MBTI or, DISC. It's not. But it's interesting, the result. We are halfway through. So far, 35 out of 64. Keep it coming.
Okay, let's do 1 more minute. For those who already vote, can give me some comments about my hair. Should I go and cut it? Oh, there. Serene, this one is Andy To.
Welcome, Andy.
Budi cannot cut it like Ong. Are you kidding? He got his style, I got my style. My style is more hair. All right, last 20 seconds.
So far, only 41. 20 more to go.
All right, let's end the poll now. Awesome. And I will share the results. Let me just get it out. Okay, everybody can see?
Okay, good. Everyone can see, Okay, let me go to the last question. Who do you like the least? I have overwhelming response, the sailor. Can I hear from somebody that voted for the sailor? Share your ideas with us. Why the sailor, from your perspective? Anyone? Unmute yourself.
The sailor take advantage of the girl. Don't like. I mean, the girl want the request, but he wanted her to sleep with him. So the advantage I don't like. I think most of them also don't like the advantage. Taking advantage.
Okay. So he is an opportunist, right? The sailor, right? And because the girl is desperate and he took advantage of her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else share the same view as Isaac? Or do you find that you have another view that you feel that, you really don't like the sailor, but it's of a different reason? Anyone else? I also see the one that's very close fight between the sailor, the option number 5, which is the girl's fiancé. Can I hear from the person that has voted for the girl's fiancé? I hear your perspective.
Yeah, who voted for the girl's fiancé? Want to give us some comments?
Andy.
Andy, Why do you think it's a girl's fiancé?
She's expecting her wife to be perfect.
Huh? Say
But we
again.
should never do that. He's expecting his wife to be perfect, while her wife did her best to get to meet her loved ones.
Okay. Okay.
So the guy is
Andy,
actually is living in a honeymoon, that kind of phase, and cannot face the imperfection of his partner.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So the imperfection, right? And he doesn't appreciate the effort that made by the girlfriend, right? Right.
Exactly.
Even though that he knows that that's the reason by the girlfriend, but he couldn't appreciate, right? Okay, imperfection. Okay, good. Let's move on.
There's also a comment in the chat saying that the sailor is unethical.
The sailor is unethical. Okay, unethical. So a bit quite similar to Isaac sharing. I take advantage, right? Unethical, right? Okay, imperfection. Okay, all right. Let's move to the top. Can I hear first question? We always want to do a contrasting results. Okay, let's go back to number 1, right? Which character do you like the best? And I have an overwhelming response on the old man. So who voted for the old man? You want to share your perspective?
Anyone voted for the old man? How come everybody suddenly so shy? Come on.
Yeah, come. The old man, question 1. Why the old man leh? Anybody? Who voted for the old man?
I think they are very shy today. Karen reply on the chat.
Why
Voice is neutral. Hello, Serene?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, see the chat. There's a response.
Where's the chat? Okay, sorry. Sailor unethical advice is his advice is neutral. Okay, so because advice is neutral, it's up to the girl to decide, right? That's why he appeared to be the most best like, correct? Okay. Any other view?
I think what they mean is that the old man perhaps is he didn't do any damage, did the least damage in the entire in the entire story. That's why they kind of agree that the old man is the
Okay, least damage. Okay, I'm writing down so that I can come back to the pointers. Okay, good. Right. So one of the biggest reflection I got it from here is that, right? Did you notice it's the same story, right? But different people view it differently, and you get different response from different people. So how do you end up like that? Have you thought of that? So I will want to bring up the next slide to talk about this. So from this book, right, is essentially there are 5 types of conflict, right? So when we talk about, why can't I have peace at work or at home, right? Actually, the leading question is that, what are the potential conflicts that you will face at home, at work, right? That you can actually try to, right? Okay, so there are 5 types. Let's go to each type. Next slide.
The 5 types.
Yeah. Okay, so there are 5 types. So when we talk about data, right, what does data mean? Data just means information. Okay, I give you an example. Recently, just last week only, I have a data conflict with my mate. I give you an example. It was a very classic example, right? I went for grocery shopping, right? I drove my car back, and because my boot was very filled up with all the grocery stuff, right? So what I did was I put some at the second row of the car, right? It's not the first row. The first row where the driver is and the passenger is the second row, and then I left it behind. So when I drove back, I told her to, offload the grocery for me and put it into the fridge. And without me knowing, I realized I didn't know that the second row, which is behind the driver's seat and the passenger seat, right? She did not manage to clear those grocery stuff. And the grocery stuff in one of the bundle, I actually have all the frozen stuff inside, the pork and the chicken and everything, right? By the time I get to know about it, right, it was the next day, right? And what happened? I got to throw away all my grocery stuff, because it's bacteria will grow, right, when you do not keep your frozen stuff into the fridge, right, when the temperature drop. So how did I respond to the issue? It's a conflict, right? Because to me, money has been wasted. I have gone for my grocery shopping, right? I'm supposed to finish my marketing, and then in the end, because that grocery bag was not handled properly, I have to go back and do a round 2 for that. So time is wasted, money is wasted, right? So how did I respond to it? Mad, right? I mean, if you are the one, you feel mad, right? I feel very mad, right? And it took me, I must say that it took me about a day. It took me about a day to get over it, right? And what I want to share with you is that on reflection, I think I share the same level of responsibility as her, right? Perhaps the way I express myself to tell her that please help me to clear all the groceries from the back seat, right, she was not able to address that. So that's one. So there's a miscommunication of data. Data means information. That means when I pass information to her, I think that she received it, but actually she didn't receive it, or she received half. Okay, so that's about data conflict, right? Secondly, I also bear certain responsibility. Why? Because I didn't check, right? So it was her failure in clearing up and making sure that the groceries are clear, but it's also my failure that if it matters so much to me, I should check, right? So that's data conflict. And this is how we want to address it, right? The reason why I want to address data conflict now is that as the level goes down, okay, structural, perceived, incompatible interest, relationship conflict, and value conflict. If your conflict with somebody, think of the somebody that you have conflict right now. If your conflict has deteriorated all the way to value conflict, that is the hardest to resolve. So as far as we can, we try to resolve conflict at the data level, at the high level, data level. That means instead of saying that, instead of being judgmental and saying, my mate is stupid, she cannot understand me, she is careless, she is not mindful, she is not attentive, so on and so forth. When it was a judgmental perception about her, let's deal with the issue and talk about exactly what goes wrong or what has gone wrong. If the issue of going wrong is because I miscommunicate, I assume without checking level, so that it doesn't get deteriorated to the very a level that is beyond reconciliation. Okay, so understand data. So now I want to hear from you. Give me an example that you feel that recently it's like a miscommunication of information, it's a data conflict, and how do you deal with it? Anyone? I say already, this is not a lecture. It's not supposed to lecture, you're supposed to share. Anyone want to share with me data conflict and how do you deal with it? Any brave soul here? Like you're not like that one, hello? I'm very surprised, I'm very quiet tonight. Is it me or the weather or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the weather is too comfortable. Everybody couch in. Yeah, but if you have any experience, where you were in conflict with people due to data or due to information miscommunication, stuff like that, please do share, and then we see whether we can learn something from it.
Anyone? Just a short story? Because I'm mindful of time also. Who is sharing? Sorry?
Gagan.
Oh, Gagan, is it? I can't really hear you.
Gagan here.
Yes. Good evening, Gagan.
My perception about data conflict. Just an example, you asked for example. For example, worldwide, let's bring COVID-19 in. When you first started 70 days ago or 3 months ago, there was little data about exactly what was happening. As we progressed into 100 days, we found out where the cause, how it started, why the worldwide pandemic. So there was in the initial stage, there was a data conflict. But nobody highlighted the actual cause. That's my view. Since you say data is numerical. It's the opinion of everybody having the same thought, coming to a common consensus. But with data conflict, I mean, there's some channel that's not converging, diverging. Like you don't get the data about what's happening.
Okay. So this one is about information, the lack of information or the inconsistent information coming out from the so-called government, right? In dealing with the crisis, right?
Can I highlight the point?
Yeah, Gagan, what do you say? Because your connection is a little wonky.
Information not coming out, but that's happening for the better of mankind. But you hold it back, hoping that it's just another day's food or another day's rain. But it happens to be something worse than it. We're supposed to come 5 or 10 years later, but it came 5 years earlier.
Okay.
That is that.
Can't really.
Yeah, but I think what he's trying to say is that.
Okay, I think we move on.
We can explore on that. Maybe we can have a conversation on that.
Okay, sure. So I think what Gagan is trying to say is that the data conflict that he experienced is something to do with COVID-19, where there is a slowdown in information from the government.
Yeah, trying to comprehend you because it's a bit broken up.
Yeah, it's okay because I think what the data conflict that we are trying to talk about is that when you and someone else have a miscommunication, right? So for example, if I have a conflict with, Chong Ming, all right, because there was some information that we didn't agree upon or we didn't share properly, and then like for example, I thought I texted Chong Ming to go and do something, but then he didn't do, then I get angry at him. So that would be what the data level conflict would be. Okay. I think Serene is having some connection issues. Oh, and I guess it's me.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, wait, let me just spotlight myself. Okay, cool. So yeah, apologize for that. We'll see how we can. She'll come back again to continue the lecture. But I think what's happening now is that we're trying to explain the different type of conflict. And in data conflict, I hope we have sufficiently explained to you what it means. It means that there's a miscommunication somewhere and something that we can be resolved. Another thing that she was saying is that if you go down deeper and deeper, because it always starts from miscommunication, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. No worries. Okay, Kim Eng, is it better when I speak? All right. Yeah. So if at the information level, it's just because two people miscommunicate with each other. But then you see, as you go down towards structural, it means now you have a kind of system where there's some kind of conflict happening as well. Then after that, you suddenly feel like, oh, we are both not on the same page because we got not the same interest. Can you see that the conflict get more and more complicated already? Then now there's a relationship problem. Where I hate you, you hate me, right? And then the last bit is values. That means what she said just now, where you prejudge the person, right? For example, if I, for no reason, before anything happen, I look at the person, I hate the person so much. Before he or she say or do anything, I say, "Aya, she's like that one. He is like that one." right? So can you see, but then when we come to that level, if I come to the point where I dislike you so much and I already have a pre-judgment about who you are, how to resolve, right? If I sit the two of you down together and talk it out with each other, nothing y'all will say to each other, because why? It's so much anger, but you don't know where this anger is coming from, right? So let's let me try. And she's back. Give me a minute. Okay. Serene, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm so sorry. I'm back. So sorry.
Cool. So we managed to discuss a little bit about how, if we go down deeper, the differences are more difficult to reconcile. So maybe you want to continue by talking to us what structural conflict mean.
Okay, I move on. Okay, structural to you, right? Intuitively, you'll know, right? Almost every organization has a structure, right? Right? From the most senior management and then all the way to the rank and file, right? And even at home, you also have structure, right? The daddy, the mommy, the children, all right? You have structure. So what we are saying is that without you going anywhere, the organization, the way the world is being constructed, the way the world is being developed, right? There will always be a structure. And because there's a structure, you will have structural conflict, right? So I give you another example. For instance, recently, I have two boys. My two boys are quite big already, okay? Recently, they try to psycho me, conditioning theory, we call it. Trying to psycho me to buy a dog for them. Okay, for the longest time, we have been talking about getting a dog for the family. But I was like, no lah, I don't want dog. I think, so I came up a lot of reasons. Can you toilet train that guy? Who is going to feed that guy? Who is going to, that dog fall sick? Who is going to manage the dog? Who's going to bring the dog for a walk? All the different reasons, right? So if you look at structural conflict, right? At the end of the day, the daddy and mommy are the one that has authority, right? Right? And we are the one that come up with the money to buy the dog. And I realized the dog not cheap. They were telling me what $6,000 for one dog. So I was like, wow, I never know that to get a dog is like $6,000-7,000, and then that's excluding the so-called the daily maintenance, right? So come back to structural conflict, because in the family there's already a structure. But do you allow the conflict to happen? It's a management, it's a function of how do you deal with the issues. To me, I'm using this example because I'm not saying that getting a dog is a problem. I'm just saying that it's a potential trigger point, because each of us have different perspective of getting a dog, right? And in my mind, I'm faster with all the difficulties and challenges I will face when I get a dog, right? How do we manage it? So when we say structural conflict, right? So it's a function of how do you see yourself in this environment? So let's say this example about the dog, right? Do I see my children as just my children, or do they see them as my co-partner together to venture into something new? Because it's an unknown area, right? And getting a dog, is like to me, it's a long-term commitment. It's like 10-15 years. And then if you don't sort it out up front, right? If you don't so-called lay down the ground rules, right? And then like for example, who is feeding, who is toilet trained, so on and so forth, you will create a problem downstream, right? So structural conflict is talking about, yes, we recognize there's a structure, and there's no way you can change the structure, be it in an organization, at work. The structure will be inherently there. But how do you deal with it? So if I see that together with my children, although they are so-called lower hierarchy than me, but it's a partnership with me together, because we are venturing something new, something exciting as a project together, and we get committed together to do it well, then it's a different relationship. So the structure has been broken down. Understand what I'm saying? Okay, I saw nodding head already. Can someone give me an example on recently had issue, and how do you deal with those structural conflict? Anyone here? Anyone? Oh, very shy.
They ask you, did anyone get the dog?
We haven't got yet. Okay, we make appointment already. We are supposed to view the dog in early week of July.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe we just move on to the next type of conflict.
Okay, can. All right. So now that I'm not hearing examples, okay, let's move on. Now, perceived incompatible interest conflict and relationship conflict. I want to put it together as a potential flashpoint. Now, when we say relationship conflict, right? So there are a huge body of knowledge behind this. When we talk about gender differences, there is this perceived differences between you are a man, I'm a woman. There are some differences among us. All right. So there'll be a gender differences. There will be a cultural differences. So maybe between Western and Asian, and then maybe even within our Asian, we are quite fragmented, right, among ourselves. There are also some perceived interest and difference. All right. And then, of course, in terms of maybe even age group, all right, your age group and my age group, maybe, they call it what? The millennium, the baby boomers and the Gen X and Gen Y, right? That because of that age differences, there is also a perceived incompatible interest, right? So these are the few category of potential flashpoint that were created conflicts among themselves, right? So today I want to focus on which is the most difficult one to handle, which is the value conflict. Okay, because I think I'm running out of time. I want to focus on how do we want to manage a conflict and not deal with the theory behind. So value conflict, that is why I chose example, the girl and the sailor as an example. Notice that, right? Isaac say he doesn't like the sailor because the sailor took advantage of the girl. All right. And somebody commented that the sailor is unethical. Right? So what does it tell you? It means that we put a lot of value, okay, on somebody must be a righteous person. That righteousness is a value that I hold dear because I find a person is upright, a person with strong character and righteous is an important value to me. And because I view it as a very important value to me, if somebody cross the line, which is like, for example, the sailor, right? To me, that is a conflict point. And that's something that I cannot allow it because I have a certain expectation of that. Follow what I'm saying? And maybe if you bring on to the cultural differences, maybe in a more liberal environment and cultural difference, maybe people have no problem with the sailor because the sailor is doing the girl a favor, right? I mean, people can flip it that way. Your girl can't reconcile with the boyfriend, has a problem getting there. I'm asking for a return for doing the hard work. No, I got to repair the boat. No, I got to row the lady over. It's a lot of hard work. So I'm trying to get something out of it, right? So it's about perception. There is no right or wrong. Depend on which value that you hold dear, and you really this is something that I expect something out of this person because to me righteousness is important. A person that is ethical is important. And because of that, that person has been ranked low in my hierarchy because I cannot condone such activity. I cannot condone such behavior. I cannot condone such demands. Follow what I'm saying? But another person may see it quite differently, right? Like I say, right? Example, the person may feel that, yeah, I'm just trying to get something. And then I love that girl. I like the girl. What's wrong with me? Trying to, get a little bit advantage here because I also do my part, right? I repair the boat. I do the hard work, so on and so forth. So you see the difference between two, right? So that is why value conflict is the hardest to go. Because you know why? If you don't deal with it at the data level, you don't deal at the structure level. I give you an example, my main example. If my expectation of her is that she must be attentive to my instruction, she must not be careless, she must not be presumptuous, then I have a certain expectation of her. I will say that, hey, my instruction to her is very clear, right? I asked you to check the car. The car has been cleared. How big can the car be? It's not a lorry, it's a car, How big can the car be? And you're telling me you cannot see the grocery at the back row of the car? Because that's the expectation I have from her, right? But if I were to manage it at the data level, that means I reflect that, look, maybe I have a role to play because maybe it's a misinformation. I did not give her proper instruction. And maybe there's an expectation of me on her is that, hey, hello, you Filipino, right? English should be not bad. I mean, if you tell me you're Indonesian, maybe a problem, the language problem. Filipino, I have an expectation on you. Your English, your command English should be good, right? So you see, inside your head, there's all this expectation without you knowing it. And the moment you have the expectation, you demand certain behavior and you're not getting it, or you're not getting the responses that you want to get, conflict. Follow so far? Okay? Okay, let's go to the next slide. So now we recognize value conflict is the hardest one. You know why? Right? Because it's inside here. You cannot see. And this one will connect to the heart. The value is close to the heart. If you expect that the sailor, for example, has to be righteous, has to be ethical, that is something that you hold dear to it, because that's the expectation of a person. A person has to be righteous, right? The moment the person crosses a line, down the relationship will deteriorate. So how do we deal with all this? Since value conflict is the hardest, so there are some recommendation here. Okay, so the Dr. Jong-un say, the book say, right, we reframe the value conflict into certain specific behavior expectation. What do we mean by that? What we are saying is that we try to expand the range of expected behavior. Because you see, if I have a certain expectation of the sailor, right, because I hold dear to a person has to be ethical, has to be righteous, right, my expectation of the behavior is only this much, is this narrow. But if I can expand the range of behavior, I have options. And if the person, maybe not so ethical, but if it doesn't cross the line of, maybe, example, how to give example, maybe like, okay, maybe the girl is not my sister, example, then it's like somebody which I don't know, then maybe I can expect the range of expectation behavior, right? And then the conflict level would not be so personal. You know what I'm saying? So expand the range of expected behavior. So that's one example. That's one. That's point number one. Point number two, promote expression of emotion by legitimizing a feeling and by, and by providing a process to deal with it. What do we mean by that? Sometimes I don't know whether have you all come across that. Sometimes when we feel about things, or we have certain strong emotion over certain things, right? We couldn't quite nail it down what that is. Have you come across that kind of situation where, maybe, recently you have a problem with, maybe I have a problem with my husband, right? I couldn't quite nail it down, but I know that I'm feeling lousy about it. Have you ever come across this kind of emotion? So point number two is telling you that sometimes you get mad, you get angry, you legitimize it. That means like you acknowledge that, yes, I'm feeling that way. A lot of time, right, a lot of people are not able to acknowledge the feeling. And then they get potted up. And then it get accumulated. And then slowly it reach a point of no return. And then it just explodes. So when we talk about legitimizing the feeling, it also means that we acknowledge that I'm feeling this way. So in order for you to really realize that, hey, I'm feeling this way, there's this thing called mindfulness. It's about personal mastery. It's about knowing yourself. Why am I feeling such a strong feeling against a sailor? So you legitimize the feeling. I'm feeling lousy about the sailor because I don't respect people of taking advantage, like what Isaac say, right? I expect somebody that is above board. I expect certain ethical behavior from the individual, right? You legitimize the feeling that I expect this, I'm feeling lousy about it because of this, that, this is that. You legitimize this. And you can only legitimize this when you're open to yourself. Sometimes a lot of people are not open to themselves. Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's guilt, maybe there is historical baggages, so on and so forth. And the person, you just shove it aside. So one of the way they are advocating is that mindfulness. That means exercise mindfulness. So there's this good news, right, that I want to share with all you, right? We are going to, Sport SG, we are going to roll out this thing called active health. Active health knowledge in terms of into developing ourselves a sense of well-being. It's about well-being, it's about healthcare, it's about wellness, right? So in this avocation, right, we are teaching people how to eat better, how to sleep better, how to stress better, how to relax better, how to exercise better. And it's a whole body of knowledge behind all this, you know. So in a way, when we talk about mindfulness, there is a whole string of things behind body of knowledge that will help us to achieve that. So if you're feeling stressed, or you're having issue with people, you're having conflict with somebody, legitimize the feeling, be open about it, not just to the person that you're not happy with, open to yourself, all right, and then talk it out. And one of the way is to exercise mindfulness. And the mindfulness is like, you know, are you sleeping well? Are you having your good dose of sleep? Are you finding ways to relax yourself? Be in the form of, you know, there are many ways to relax in listening to music, read a book, go for your exercise. I always go for my run, you know, exercise and all those. I just finished my run this morning in the gym. I've not been running in the gym for the past 2 months, right? All of us cannot go gym, right? Yeah, so this is my first run. I was so happy. So find a way to de-stress, find a way to acknowledge the stress level that you have, and do that lah. So it's about mindfulness, okay? And legitimizing the feeling, because a lot of us, or maybe not a lot, some of us cannot legitimize the feeling, okay? We go to the next slide. Then, after you legitimize, then what you do? You need to talk it out lah. So that's why there's improve quality and quantity of communication, all right? Improve the quality and quantity of communication. You talk it out to the person that you have conflict with. And one of the theory about communication, right, is about advocacy and inquisitive. That means if you have an issue with somebody, you be inquisitive. That means be curious why that person behave this way. So I'm also curious, right? For example, the maid issue, right? I'm also curious, what is it about her that she couldn't understand my instruction? And what is it about me that she couldn't grasp the full instruction that leads to the data miscommunication, right? And then we talk it out. Okay, so there is this character. I don't know whether did Jackie prepare for me. It's a complex term of the word team. Okay, I don't know whether are you familiar with this character called team. This is a complex format of team. You know,
Chinese.
The traditional Chinese, right? So this one is amazing. Let me break down for you. So all of us were born with ears, right? So ears, you have a pair of ears for you to listen. Okay? And next. When the person speaks, you treat that person like a king, you know. That's what it's trying to tell you. You treat the person like a king. That means what? You honor the person when you listen to that person. And you acknowledge whatever the person is sharing you that is important. So if you can apply this when you have conflict with somebody, when you want to move forward, right? The first step is to acknowledge yourself, and next step is to communicate with the person that you have conflict with. So you communicate. One of the best way is to listen first. Start with the listening, the art of listening. A lot of us, we like to talk. We don't like to listen. Even when we listen, we pretend to listen. Why? Because when the person is listening, have you come across an incident where when the person is talking, right? Actually, when you listen, you're not trying to listen to understand. You're trying to listen to respond. Because, okay, the person said this, the person said that, right? I'm trying to get back to the person. And I'm just listening so that I can poke here, poke there, rather than trying to understand. Follow what I'm saying? Right? So the complex term of teen tell you that when the person talk, you treat the person like a king. That means you honor the person when the person is talking. Okay, let me go to the next one. And then what you do? This is the word 实目. 实目 means what? With a pair of eyes looking at the person. Be attentive to the person. All right. So, and the following next slide, next point is undivided. E means undivided attention. That means you focus on the person when the person is talking. And finally, the last one is called sing. That means you listen with your heart. If you can do all this, right, when you talk about active listening, right, that will really help you to bring the quality of communication at the next level. Okay, let me go back. That's enough for theory, yeah? Because I want to hear from you. Then after that, you know, when you can talk about things, you know, maybe a different perspective, right? Then you can promote the problem-solving attitudes. That means you go into the problem-solving together. You don't solve the problem by yourself. You solve the problem with the person that you conflict with. And then you rebuild your relationship slowly. And don't be anxious. Take baby steps. Because you have to build the positive vibes with each other. Right? And then you slowly gather the positive vibes, and then make that baby steps. Okay, so that's all I have, but it's too theoretical. I want to hear some reflection from all of you. What do you all think? Which one do you think is applicable? Which one do you think is not so applicable? Or which one is like, you know, it's too theory or too theoretical beyond me? Can I hear some comments from anyone?
There is actually a question in the chat, but I'm not sure whether we are able to take that question.
Okay, let me see. What's the question? Don't talk about politics, okay? I'm not ready for that, sorry. What is the question? Sorry.
So, yeah, this politics one.
It's too complex, because geopolitical issues is beyond. If you're interested, you can read that book. It's at this level. Even conflicts have 5 levels, right? These are 5 types of conflict, right? Even levels, there are 5 levels, right? When you talk about geopolitical conflicts, you're looking at level 5 already. If we call it the intractable level of conflict, means 不是你死就是我亡 is that kind of relationship. It's like there must be only one winner, right? Between US and China. From US perspective, I'm the leader, right? I need to win, right? So there's only and if I need to win, you must be the one losing. There is no situation where it's a win-win situation. There's no such scenario. Okay, so if it's a intractable levels of conflict, right, it's very, very difficult to resolve. And we don't want that to be in our personal life, right? Be it at work, we are not talking about an issue between a nation, one nation to another nation. Let's talk about our level that we can bring it back to our either at home or at work, you know, that we can try to, you know, work it out.
Okay, Lily Bob, you have a question?
Yeah, just now you were saying listen to respond or listen to understand. Which one? Which one were you emphasizing on?
Listen to understand.
Listen to understand is when you are doing counseling or when you are, you know, trying to comfort. But if you are doing debating, I will listen to respond.
Why do you want to debate?
No, I mean if in a debating session, you always have debates, what, like rally and all.
Definitely, Lily. So if you are in a debate situation, you're of course listening to respond. But right now, we are talking about in a conflict situation. What is your goal? Is your goal to beat down the other person, or is your goal to try to salvage the relationship? So here we are assuming that you know, you don't want to be in conflict. You want to try to, you know, patch up back the relationship. That's why we want to listen to understand, so that we can know where are the points that gone wrong, so that we are able to get the relationship back.
Yeah, but if the person is unreasonable, you have to listen to understand as well as respond. Right? It should be both.
Okay, then my question is, why do you think the person is unreasonable?
Depending on the situation, depending on the conflict.
So it's back to the what we said earlier, right?
In a conflict, it's not that definitely one person is correct and one person is the king. In a conflict, both may have faults.
So remember,
so that's why sometimes you need a meditator.
Okay. So remember, the topic of today is about why can't we have peace at work, at life, in our life, right? At the end of this workshop, we want to learn a little bit of the nuggets of wisdom to know how do we get peace. And one of the ways how we want to resolve conflict with a person that I have conflict with, right? So the advocation here is that when you have an issue with somebody and you want to resolve the issue, the first thing first is to improve the quality of communication. And one way is to learn the art of listening. So it's not to bring the person down. So back to the example you say, right? If the person is unreasonable, of course I need to bring the person down, right?
Not bring the person down. I mean, just have to reason if the person sit down and really talk over it. You don't bring the person down.
Yeah. So that's a good start. So you want to have a conversation with the person, right? So how do we have a good conversation with the person in order to resolve the conflict? So that's why we are advocating the word team, and we are advocating the art of listening. That's what I'm saying. And the art of listening advocate that when you listen to the person, is to try to understand where the person is coming from, rather than, oh, I need to respond to that person. That's what we are advocating here.
So
does it answer your question?
Andy is saying, right? Like good communication is not easy because sometimes when we try to listen, but inside we are also being affected by our own experience, our perception of the issue, our personality, even our cultural background as well. It may affect.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
So that's why these are all the hidden things that is inside here, and is here, and it's shaping you up, you know, and it's shaping you up. So when you say the person is unreasonable, again, we talk about the range of behavior just now, right? Why is a person considered unreasonable? Because it is fall outside your expected behavior. I expect my children to behave like that. There is a range of behavior. If the person is crossed the line, that means it's outside the behavior. That's where the conflict comes in. So one of the first advocation is that if we can expand the range of behavior in a reasonable boundary where I can accept, right? Let's say if a structural conflict, right? If I can accept my children's behavior and I can expand the range of boundary and we talk it out, because to them, maybe my range of behavior is only this much, too narrow, right? So for example, my friends used to give what do you call it? Timing to the daughter. You must come back by 10:30 every night. 10:30, and the daughter is already 22 years old. So is this range of behavior reasonable? and if the daughter say, no, 10:30, the party just started, haven't even started yet. The disco just started or whatever. If they still go for disco, I don't know. Maybe 12 o'clock, maybe more reasonable, or 1 o'clock more reasonable. Then you expand the range of behavior. But how do you expand? How do you even get there? You must communicate lah. Must talk about it lah. You get what I mean? Then you surface the differences. Oh, my mommy say 10:30, but 10:30, wow, too early. I think at least 12 o'clock. So you talk about it. But how do you reach a 12 o'clock conversation? It's about communication, right? You need to get there, right? You need to talk about it, right? And then the mommy need to hear the girl's perspective. Why is 10:30 unreasonable? Right? So you expand the range of behavior. That's what I meant. 可以吗, Lily?
Yeah, okay.
We also have
like.
Let me see. Aside from communication, emotional agility is also important in conflict management.
But I want to understand when we say emotional agility, what does it mean? Because all of us have emotion, right? When we say emotional agility means what? I suka like that, suka feel like that, suka feel that way, is it? Or what? Or I flip around my emotion. So this is not what the book is advocating. The book is advocating you feel certain way. That's because you have certain expectation. You have a certain values and certain belief that you hold dear to yourself. You acknowledge that. Because how do you form that behavior and the mental model? It's through your history, your educational background, your family background, the friends that you mix with, the cultural setting. All this will shape, it's invisible, but will shape you how you see things, how you see world. So when we see the world, different people see the world differently, different perspective. Why? Because we came from different history, our historical baggages, how we were being brought up, our family culture, so on and so forth, right? So if I'm being brought up in an environment where my dad is an authority, right? It's very authoritative. There's a structural conflict now. Now I become a mom. Do I inflict the same expectation on my children, where whatever you do, you have to come to me? I need to endorse every single thing that you do. And why do I do that? Because I learned it from my parents. So because I learned it from parents, in my worldview, this is the correct way of parenting. And I will demand that kind of behavior for my children. And if that expected behavior do not match with the current millennium, then conflict law. Structural conflict. So how do I deal with it? I spend, but how do I even get there? Communication. It's not so easy, must talk one, because we are all different.
Yeah, I guess the talking part is the most challenging when it comes to a conflict. I mean, if you think about it, the reason why when you are in a conflict, naturally your liking towards the person already been affected. But then asking you to go and talk with the person, I guess it's really about humbling yourself and being willing to come to the table to start the negotiation. So I guess there's a lot of things to learn from this topic here, and definitely, I really thank Serene for spending her time to share with us this knowledge, that she acquired from the book that she reads, and it's definitely very helpful for us in our personal life as well as our work life. So yeah, thank you so much, Serene.
Thank you. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's not too theoretical, because I was hoping it to be more interactive, to hear more from your story, so that we can talk about the story, right? Rather than just my story. Okay, but
can you recommend the book again, please?
Okay, it's here. This one is a bit like 卧虎藏龙 like that. Smiling Tiger. You can see it.
Put in front of your face.
Smiling Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay, Smiling Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Conflict. Can you see? Oh dear.
It's okay. But you have to turn off your virtual background, maybe. But
Okay.
we saw the title, Smiling Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes, Managing Conflict at Work and at Home. Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes. Thank you, Serene.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks so much, everyone.
Awesome.
Good night. Good night.
Okay, so for the rest of you, we have some interesting announcements to share. Have a look. Tomorrow, if you are not doing anything, okay, if you are at home, please, this is a very interesting scheme that we want to get everybody to join. All right, this is a Team Nila Silver Champion. It is a volunteering scheme made for senior citizens above 60 years old. So if you know anybody who is above 60, always ask you where to get this purple t-shirt. Please ask them to join this information session, because we come up with a volunteer experience only for senior citizens. We take into account all their feedback, and then this is what we've come up with. So come and listen, hear the scheme out, see whether if you are interested or not. All right, so it's tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. via Zoom. If you don't have the link, just text to you text the Team Nila person that you've been talking to, maybe Pauline Lee, Serene Wang, Mariana, whoever it is, or you can just text me directly. My phone number is there. Okay, so send me the message. I'll give you the poster and the details. You can forward it to all your friends. Cool. Now, the next thing is, if you are going to be at home, okay, this part I can actually get someone to help me. If you're going to be at home, all right, Mr. Isaac, okay, he will be leading a workout session tomorrow with Mariana. Isaac, you want to say something, to promote your session tomorrow?
Okay, everybody. I know some of us who have been in the motivators group trying your best to do Get Active Workout 2019. This one is Mary and I myself. We want to get people to the National Day mood. Because of this COVID-19, I think everybody is just now very mundane, not like the past. We have Get Active. We have got a lot of things to do. So whatever work towards that, me and Mariana, we will try to improve everybody's steps for this Get Active 2019 towards the new, there's a new workout for Get Active 2020. So it's just to encourage everyone to come and involve until a National Day. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Isaac. So that's it. Please come and join us. I mean, Karen, if you are still working from home, but if you are busy, then you can just join us on our Saturday session. Speaking about Saturday, let's take a look here. All right, this Saturday on our own show, we're going to have a special guest, all right, Mr. Lim Tong Hai. If you guys are football fans, you will know that Tong Hai is actually the Singapore team captain for football a couple of years ago when I was still, in primary school. Okay, so if you are a football fan and you would like to ask some questions to Tong Hai, have him answer some of your queries, find out what it's like to be a national athlete and now an ex-national athlete, right? Because a lot of people say play sports in Singapore will 探价, but you see what Tong Hai is doing, you can ask him whether 探价 or not, right? Then after that, see whether you want to get your children or families, the young people in your family to get involved in sports. Cool. So this is a very interesting conversation to have. Join us this Saturday at 9 a.m. on the Aong Show. With that, thank you so much, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the session today. All right, next week's topic is going to be very interesting. We want to address some intergenerational issues. I think just now Serene managed to talk about it briefly, where she say the strawberry generation, together with the boomers go together and then they don't understand each other because due to language, lingo, etc. If you want to hear about that, okay, look out for my poster next week, and we're going to address, thank you, Angeline, it is the generation gap. Okay, so we're going to talk about the generation gap and the kind of, issues that arise from this generation gap. Cool, so I'll send out the topic, via WhatsApp soon. And if you think that it's going to be beneficial to your friend outside of Team Nila, please feel free to share it with them as well. And I'll see you again next week on Wednesday, 7:45 p.m. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.